Hello everyone, this is the first lecture for CSE 271 where I will show you how to install Eclipse on your computer, configure this Eclipse on your computer, and then how to start with your first program and subsequently how to debug it. I am pretty sure that you have used several other IDE or Java tools to debug your program, but Eclipse is the standard version and I want to show you how you should do it. So before you install Eclipse, it is better to install Java Development Kit, and it is developed by Oracle. So let's say download JDK8. So if you do that, then it will take you to Oracle site where you can find out all the operating system listed over there. You can choose Windows. If you have Windows x64 bit is for 64-bit machine, and 86 is nothing but the i360 386 computer or 32-bit computer. So for our case, we have Mac operating system, so we will be using this one. So you have to select and basically you have to create a username. I have already created an username, so I'll be using that particular username and sign in. Okay, so I am able to download it. Now while JDK is being downloaded, why don't we download Eclipse as well? To download Eclipse, just search download Eclipse and it will take you to the page of eclipse.org. You can see here. Okay, and go to get Eclipse 2020 and click on that and just download. Okay, and save. So if you got both of them, now let's install JDK. And now let's install our Eclipse. Basically this is a downloader, so we should click on Java and it is fine. It's a folder. Let's just select the default one and accept now. Okay, I'll just accept it. Okay, so now my installation of Eclipse is complete. So now let's launch Eclipse IDE. So here, when Eclipse starts, it will first ask you where you want to put your workspace. So by default, it is stored here. Okay, if I want to create another workspace or in a matter where all my Java projects will be stored, I can determine a new folder or new directory. So let's do that. So in my case, I will do it, let's say, in my documents, and then I create a folder, new folder called CSE 271, and I create that and I use it for as my workspace, so I can launch that. So what will happen is Eclipse will put all the environment variables and everything in that particular folder, and every time I open Eclipse, it will come to this particular space. Let's close it again and I will show you, in case you forgot to select the workspace first time, how you can switch the workspace. If you want to do that, go to File, and then there will be a Switch Workspace tab. So switch workspace, you go to other, and then you can browse it again. So even if you forget, let's don't panic, and you can do it at this way. Okay. This particular window is basically the welcoming window. Now every time you switch a workspace, this particular window will come. That means your workspace is new and it doesn't have any project saved in. That's why it is coming. So what we can do is we can get rid of this welcome window, and then you can see different pane of the Eclipse will appear. So this is the Eclipse IDE, the whole thing, and in this left hand side we have this package explorer where you will see all the packages and projects you create. This will appear on this particular pane or panel. Then you have usually in the bottom section you have a panel or where you will have your problems, your Java doc, declaration, etc. And more importantly, as you progress through the course, you will find that we will have our console over here. As I was saying, on this particular pane, sometimes we will have our console where we can have our input and output console. To do that, what we could it will appear automatically when you compile and run a Java program. But if you want to forcefully do it, then you can go to Window and then go to Show a View, and you can go to Console and it will appear over here. Now, most of the time when we write program, we don't need these on the right hand side task list or outline, etc. We will use it when we are debugging something, but for the first time we might not use it. So let's get rid of these panes. Now again we can go to Window, again Show View, and select whatever we need. Let's say Java doc. We came here again. Let's Show View and tasks, so it will appear over here, etc. Now of course we can drag it if we want to put it on this side, and it will come over here. Okay, so this is very flexible model through which we can organize our workspace the way we want. We can even create a new put another panel over here, so we can have a split view for the code, etc. etc. Now if somehow we mess things up and the view is not something that you want, what you could do, you could go to this top right corner and then right click on here and then reset. Okay, this will reset your perspective. That means whatever we saw when we started this Eclipse. So this is a very useful tool if you mess up your view. Got it? So let's start creating a project and understand how we can create a project and execute it. If you have already taken a class 171, I'm pretty sure you know this, and you can skip this part, but let's do it for everyone. So to create a project, you can either click on this link, create a Java project. Now remember that if you are doing this for the first time after creating a new workspace, then you will have this option, create a new Java project. But you won't have this every time. There are two other options. So this particular panel is basically created to keep some buttons that are used oftentimes. So here you can see this window plus sign means like creating a project. You can click on this one and this particular window will open. But a traditional way to do it is to go to File and then New and then a new Java project. Got the idea? Here you will first give the name, okay, name of the project. Now it is always advised that you name the project with a capital letter. So let's say you want to create a name. Let's say 27 CAC 271 P1. That means CAC 271 project 1. Okay, and you can see the default location is already in your workspace. Your workspace was like, that folder we created, and inside that you will have this particular project created. Now let's see, you can specify what kind of Java runtime environment this particular project will use. This particular project will use Java runtime 1.8, that is mean Java 8. Okay, you can also provide like if it wants to use a specific JR. Okay, we don't need to do that right now. So then for the project layout, okay, and you can specify where your source file will be created. For now, let's click on this create separate folder for source file and class files. This is very useful. You will know that for a Java program, you will just need to create a something.java file, right? And then when you compile from command prompt, you can do that, and you compile from Java file, you create a single or several class files. You know that. Now, for a larger softwares where there are like hundreds of class files and Java files, it is very tedious to manage everything in the same root folder. That's why when we are creating a project, it is always better to create the separate folder for source, separate folder for classes, separate folder for other resources, and sometimes we create folder for libraries if we want to put additional libraries into it. So let's for this time create separate folder as default. Okay, so let's click on finish. You can see that it has already created a project in your project explorer pane. Now click on the drop down menu and you will see that there is a again a menu for JRE system library, which is by default saying Java 1.8, which will be used, and it has bunch of libraries that is already incorporated, and you don't need to worry about it. These are the libraries for you to use by default so that you don't have to put additional libraries. Okay, we don't worry about that right now. Let's go to the source folder. Source folder is empty. Now let's look at the file explorer and finder and see where this is stored and everything. So if you go to finder and let's go to your documents and zoom, not CSS 271, and if you go there, you can see there are two folders created. One is source, another one is bin. The bin will be the one where after compilation whatever is generated, it will be stored over there. Now the source folder is empty right now. So let's now create a Java class so that we can write a program and compile it. Okay, so as we were saying, so to do that you can right click on this source folder and click new and then class. You can do that, or again you can come here, file, new, and a Java class, whichever is easier for you, do that. I always find that right clicking is important because right clicking is more convenient with me, because then I can specify in which particular folder I am doing it. So new Java class, and let's name this tester class, tester. Now the convention of naming says that a Java class should always start with a capital letter. That's why we have put T as capital. You can specify whether you want to do it public, package, or different modifiers. I'll be talking about modifiers later on when I'll be teaching class, but for now let's just do it as default. Now it is there. So now there are some checkboxes. Got it? If you want to this particular class to have a main class, you can click this box, and this will generate a public static void main function inside your class. Let's don't do it and we write it from scratch. So let's click on finish. It created this tester.java class. So you found this here. Now nothing is introductory class if you don't create your first hello world program. So let's create a hello world program which will output a string called hello world and execute it. So to do that, so you already have created a class. Inside a class, in a Java, the main function where the program start executing is called main function. Okay, and main function has to be always public and static. Got the idea? It will always be public and static so that it is visible to every other class, and system when the executor it can execute it directly. So it has to be public, okay, static. The return type you can be int, but let's do it void main, okay, because we will not return anything in our hello world program. So we do that, and then oh sorry. So to do that, we can do it in two different ways. Now, Eclipse has a autocomplete function. The autocomplete function is very useful. What you do, let's say you want to write a main function, right? So you write main, and then you want to see what are the default option possible with main. What you do is you press Ctrl and spacebar. It will show you that for main, the autocompletion can find very useful, that is this function public static void main. You can use this one right away and it will create the function for you. This is very important. Alternatively, you can do it yourself. So you write public static void main, and main should get string array of string arguments, okay, and then you put the function curly braces. We said that our objective for this particular program is basically to output a hello world string on the console. To do that, what we do is we use system.out.print. See, Eclipse autocomplete thing. So when we put system is a class, and as soon as we put dot, it will show us the different methods that are available, these different public variables that are available, and we take out, and system.out, this is a public and static variable that we can use, and then system.out.print, and we can specify a string. So let's specify hello world. Okay, this is our program. Now let's run it. To run it, you go to, there are different ways, of course. You can go to this particular button, you see, run tester. If you do that, it can run, or if you can go on the conventional method, then you go on this particular run tab and then select run. Got this? Now for when you are running for the first time, it will ask if you want to save it every time if you want to run it. Now what happens is I have not saved this program. So if I have not saved this particular program, that means there are some unsaved edit still remaining. You will see a star indicated over here. That means this particular program is not saved. Now if I have saved it, let's say I do it, and I go to File and Save, and I could have done it from Control Save or Command Save also. So let's say save. You see this star is gone. Let's do some edit and put a space over here. This star appears. So if you run, if you select run, then what will happen? It will ask whether you want to save it. And if you select this dialog box, that will enable that every time I hit run, it will auto save that particular program. So let's run it. So you see, as soon as I run, the console tab appears in the console pane or the lower pane, and we can see this particular string hello world is printed, which was given over here. So this concludes our first session, where we show you how to install Eclipse, and then we showed you how to write your first program in Eclipse, how to compile it, and how to execute it successfully.